You'll be 20% more likely to get good grades. You could have 18% more friends. With this trait, you could sleep 25% better and have more energy. And with this trait, you could even add up to 7 years to your life. What virtue will do all this for you and more? An attitude of gratitude. Melody Beatty says, gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. It turns what we have into enough and more. It turns denial into acceptance, chaos to order, confusion to clarity. It can turn a meal into a feast, a house into a home, a stranger into a friend. Gratitude makes sense of our past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow. On the other hand, complaining does the complete opposite. In the Bible, God clearly does not like complaining. In 1 Corinthians 10:10, it says, "And don't complain, as some of them did, and were killed by the destroying angel." This verse is telling the story of the Israelites, one of the worst examples of gratitude ever. First, they complain about slavery. God rescues them from Egypt. They complain about hunger. God sends manna. They complain about thirst. God sends water. By the time they get to the promised land, God has had enough. In Numbers 14, 27, and 29, he says to Moses, "How long will these evil people continue to complain against me? I have heard their complaints and their griping. So tell them, this is what will happen to you. You will die in this desert. Every person who is 20 or older will die because you complained against me." Because of the Israelites complaining, they turned an 11-day journey to the promised land into a fatal 40-year journey in the desert. A famous quote goes, "Complain and remain." The Israelites complained and remained in their desert. And just like them, if we complain, we will remain in our physical, emotional, or spiritual desert.
That's right.
A few years ago, a study was conducted on thankfulness in a jewelry store. When employees called customers back to thank them, purchases rose by 70%.
Yes.
God has the same desire to bless us when we thank him. In the story of the 10 lepers, I believe that the thankful leper received an extra blessing. You see, all the other lepers' bodies were cleansed, but the thankful leper's soul was cleansed. The other part of that famous quote goes, "Complain and remain," or praise and be raised.
Come on.
The Israelites complained and remained in the desert, but this thankful leper praised and he was raised.
Come on.
What many people don't know is that this kind of raising is still available through praising today.
Yes.
Studies have shown that something as simple as a gratitude journal helps tremendously with stress and increases empathy toward others.
Yes.
One man's personal story of this. My mom only had one eye. She was such an embarrassment. One day during elementary school, my mom came to say hello to me. Embarrassed, I threw a hateful look and ran out. I wanted my mom to just disappear. I confronted her that day and said, "Why don't you just die?" My mom did not respond. I wanted out of that house and nothing to do with her. So I studied and got a chance to go abroad for school. Soon I was married and had kids of my own. Then one day, my mother came to visit me. When my children saw her, they screamed and I yelled, "How dare you come to my house and scare my children? Get out now!" To this, my mother quietly disappeared. Soon after that, I received a letter about a school reunion and decided to go. After the reunion, I went to my old shack, just out of curiosity. My neighbor said she had died. I didn't even shed a tear. They handed me a letter she had wanted me to have. "My dearest son, I was so glad to hear you were coming to the reunion, but I may not even be able to get out of bed to see you. I'm sorry I was a constant embarrassment to you. When you were very little, you got into an accident and lost your eye. As your mother, I couldn't just watch you grow up without an eye, so I gave you mine. I was so proud of you for seeing a whole new world in my place. With all my love, your mother." This man had an opportunity to be thankful and wasted it. Now, it is our turn. Each of us must make a choice. Will we complain and remain, or will we praise and be raised? Thank you.